podcast on the Walk by Faith show. This week, I officially launched the podcast on iTunes platform, which was such a huge accomplishment, guys. I told myself I wanted to do the podcast. It happened. It's done. It's up. I just want to say God is so good, and when you trust in His plan, everything will work out, literally. The tools I used was just an app called Anchor, Google Voice, my phone, and also my Apple headphones for sound. And all of this cost me nothing up front. All the apps were free, and right now I'm just super excited because I'm now going to be highlighting our next featured guest, none other than Miss Sabreen Jolley. And in this podcast, we're going to title it The Same Sky, Different Light. She's an author, a poet, a soon-to-be graduate from the Clark Atlanta University. She has recently self-published her first book entitled Same Sky, Different Light. I hope you guys get why we're calling this podcast Same Sky, Different Light. She's full of inspiration and has had such humble beginnings where she's just 21, guys, and she's doing the darn thing, okay? So I can't wait to do it any longer, but Miss Sabreen, tell us who you are and what you're studying, how you transition from being in a small city like Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and now going to school at Clark Atlanta.
Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you, Jasmine, for having me. I'm so excited about your journey. I've been watching you, and I'm so excited to see what happens. So I am Sabreen Jolley. Again, I go to the Clark Atlanta University in ATL, Georgia. And for me, when talking about my transition from Pine Bluff, Arkansas to Atlanta, for me, it honestly wasn't that big of a deal, I would say, honestly, because I am a city girl turned country, so travel and experiencing new things was never an issue for me. And I honestly felt like a big fish in a small pond. But I'm so grateful for Pine Bluff, Arkansas, shout out, and what it has done for me and how it has groomed me, how it has humbled me as a person, and shaped how I think. So that I'm able to go to different places with a different type of perspective and a different type of appreciation for the South and for, I would say, humble beginnings. And so in Atlanta, it's not too big, it's not too small, so I feel like it's the perfect place for somebody aspiring to grow in their craft as an artist, as a writer, as a speaker, like myself. So I think it was a God-ordained step, honestly. I don't know. I didn't expect to get to Atlanta. I didn't expect to come here of all places, but I'm glad I am here.
Okay. And I love that. Huge shout out to the Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Y'all know I'm a country girl turned city, and Sabreen is a city girl turned country. Okay, so everybody should know a little bit about Pine Bluff, because that's what I tell everybody. I say I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, baby. That's where I'm from. I'm not afraid to say it. I stick to that. Okay. Now, my next question is, Sabreen, I've been following you on social media, and you have literally exploded your platform, what you're doing in 2018, how you're choosing to walk, and you're selling books, you're reciting poetry, and you're doing spoken word. And you're having fun while doing it. Girl, I'm enjoying watching you in the process. So how did you get started in that? And, I know you wrote a book. Just talk to us about how you got started.
Well, originally, I was writing a book, my 12th grade in high school at Pine Bluff High School. And it was originally supposed to be a novel, but life began to happen. My freshman year of college, I lost my dad, my biological dad. And then 2 weeks later, I lost 2 other family members. My car got hit, just a number of just stuff just started happening to me. And so I was really in a discouraged place. I was in a place of sadness, and I felt like depression. I felt very lost. And so I don't know. I met this guy named Chris James, excuse me. He's actually from Little Rock, Arkansas. He's moved here to Atlanta, Georgia, and he's doing his thing. But I was honestly inspired by him and what he was doing as an artist. And I feel like being in his presence as a author and a speaker, it kind of reignited something in me that was already there, but I just needed someone to pull it out. And so with that, I got tired of talking. I was tired of talking about my ideas, what it was that I want to do, and I just threw it out there. And so I heard a guy once say, do less thinking and more doing, and so I made my life a verb. I made my life action, and I said, you know what, regardless of how this turns out, I know that God has me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn people's perspectives, what people feel, good, bad, or ugly, into poetry, which is my first love. And I'm going to make it a book because that's something that I wanted to do for myself for the longest. And so I'm so glad that I was able to finally gain like an intestinal fortitude to do that. So I'm so grateful for that. And that's really where that was birthed from, a place of hurt, a place of uncomfortability.
And Sabreen, you're so strong. Most of us have our parents. And, you lost your parents right at a pivotal point in your life where you were beginning college. And I just want to say, I'm proud of you for sticking in there, continuing to go to college, and just overall learning to cope with not having your father and your grandparents, but still finding that story within it, right? Because you could have easily given up and said, I'm done. But you didn't. Right. You kept going. And I guess now we can talk more about your book, which is Same Sky, Different Light. Can you tell us about it and, just give us some points?
Okay, so with Same Sky, Different Light, like I said, the title was derived from a perspective of, we all live under the same sky, but we all have a different story. We all have a different perspective. So over the course of, I would say, about 3 years or 4, just listening to different stories, seeing different things happening in people's lives, I decided that I would turn those people's experiences into poetry. And so there's a poem in my book about my grandparents, and it's talking about love and the intensity of love, and sometimes love lost, sometimes sticking in relationships even when you don't want to be there, sticking in relationships for the sake of children. And then I have poems about rape. I have poems about love. I have poems about nature and the beauty of nature and how we should preserve and protect nature and how we are directly aligned with the universe. So the book is just completely about perspective, different perspectives from not only people but things. And so I was very excited to write that. I was very excited to write a poetry book, first of all, because I felt that it would be the precursor for everything else that I did. And so on the back of my book, I put, what good is the art form that is bound by structure? And what I meant by that is, what good is art if it's not true to you, if it's not free, if it's not exactly what you think? So I wrote exactly what I thought, whether it offended somebody. And I even thought back on it, like, what if I offend somebody by saying this or that? And then I began to think, well, how many people would I have stopped from receiving something that they needed when I had in mind what everybody else would think about what I put out there? So I just decided to do that. I put it out in its rawest form, its purest form, and, the most heartfelt form. And so that's what the book is about. It's about perspective. It's about love. It's about life. And so each person can get something from it. Everybody won't be able to resonate or agree or feel each poem in the book, but they'll be able to feel something because it's a multitude of poems that talk about different experiences. And so that's what I hope that a reader can gain from that.
Okay. And I know one of our listeners is just itching to write a book. They're just itching to start their journey, to start on something that God has told them to do. Now, my question, Sabreen, how much does it cost to start writing a book? What do you need to do to write a book to self-publish? What is the steps?
Well, it honestly depends on which company you go through. I went through Create Space, which is a self-publishing platform. It usually costs about $2 to actually produce a physical copy of the book once it's put in and edited and all that good stuff. But you can actually just begin by selling online, and once you accumulate some revenue from that, you can use that money to produce those $2 a copy. But the great thing about it is that you decide your price. So let's say you purchase the book costs $2 to produce, but you sell the book for $20. That's more than, of course, more. That's about 5 times the cost it takes to produce it. So you're making a profit. So you benefit in the end. And I would say it's not necessarily a difficult process all the way. It's just a matter. I think the most difficult part is actually doing it, actually saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to put this out there, researching which company you want to use, which one may be best for you, which one is most cost efficient, because there are ones that they cost $15 to produce a book. But you just always want to start small, and as you grow and as you learn and as you develop in your writing skills and you create a platform in the writer's world, you'll be able to accumulate more money that'll allow you to do different things. So start small.
Okay, and my next question is, after you getting booked to speak in multiple places, how are you leveraging your network, and how are you getting booked so that you can continue to expand your platform and, sell more books as well as touch more people? How are you getting booked like you are?
That's so funny. I'm mass media arts major, but my concentration is PR, which deals with basically networking. And it's really about who you know. Talking to people, finding out what they do. I remember going to an interview for a job that I did not get, but I kept a woman's card and I contacted her and I thanked her for everything that she was doing and all that good stuff. Later, she responded to me, and she was the publisher of the Atlanta Voice, which is the #1 Black newspaper in Atlanta. And we've had a relationship ever since then. And so I would say just throwing yourself out there. If you have to call around the school and say, hey, I'm a local artist and I'm interested in coming to speak to the children about such and such, it's just a matter of throwing yourself out there. You're going to get some no's, you're going to get some yeses, but capitalize and, build on those yeses. Make the most of those yeses. Take the good and the bad. Take the little and the big. And that's what I did. I just started talking to people, and I feel like I have to gift the gab a little bit. So just talking.
Don't we all?
Right.
So, it is Black History Month. In fact, this weekend is Black Panther, our entire Black History reunion. I mean, Everybody's going crazy for Black Panther. I'm going to go see it this Saturday. I'm super, super excited to see it. My next question, do you have some spoken words to share with the Walk by Faith family? Because, it is Black History Month. And, we would like to get a little bit of taste of who Miss Sabreen Jolley is. Okay, y'all?
So, of course, yes, of course. And I actually have a poem specifically for Black History Month entitled Crystal Stairs. And it's inspired by Langston Hughes. I won't do the entire thing because it's pretty lengthy, but I'm going to give you all a little piece. Langston perfectly described the condition of us hued folk when he reminded us that life for us ain't been no crystal stair. It had cracks in it, and splinters and boards torn up in places with no carpet on the floor bare. And it's been that way for quite some time over here in this land that promises you equal rights and domestic tranquility, but leaves you somewhere between hard knocks and partial civility. Constant reminders of our conditions firmly baked into this American pie we're so eager to get a piece of when we was the ones that gave them the recipe from the start. And as they capitalize on our art, work, ideas, creativity, struggle, and hunger, I can't help but wonder, where do we go from here? This place where our suffering and misinformation funds their wicked trickery while we try to thrive on miseducation and leaders overlook the problems we're facing, fighting to look like them while they're paying for our faces, broken homes with no carpet in them places, take my brother from his mother, then dismiss the cases, sponsor the war on drugs, ridicule the war on races, mount the elites on pedestals and stools with black faces, convince us we're collateral, subordinate adjunct, rob our lens of coltan to build the media industry, then kill us slowly while we're videotaping, death skin overlooked, Anglo-Saxon, how invasive, how creative you are to turn strange fruit into lemonade, then sell it on the store shelf that the black man made. Knowledge equals awareness. Education is the equivalent of being trained. 2018, yet we still slaves. No wonder folks still sleeping in the 21st grade. And I'm going to stop right there because there's a little bit more. But yes, that is awesome.
Wow, Sabreen. I don't know if people can hear me, but I'm snapping. I am snapping. That was really good.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. And
thank you.
Right now, we do have some more time for the people. Is there anything else that you want to share with the Walk by Faith family? Just on getting started, not taking life for granted and moving forward as though you don't have a tomorrow and taking home of your gifts today, starting today.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you can add to that?
I would honestly say the only thing that is constant is change. And so it is up to you to decide which direction you're changing. Are you going to let change stop you, or are you going to let change mold you and build you? Everyone goes through something. Everyone's experiences hardship, but all of those things are used to mold you into who you're supposed to be. There would be no Oprah. There would be no Nikki Giovanni. There would be no Zora Neale Hurston if there wasn't trial, if there wasn't triumph, if there wasn't hurt, if there wasn't mistakes. And so use those mistakes as a way to build and walk by faith. As Jasmine would say, walk by faith. Walk by faith, not knowing what's next, not knowing the next step, not knowing if it's going to work out and if it's not going to work out. Knowing that God will direct your path, having some kind of basis to ground you in what it is that what you want to, whatever it is that you want to do. And there's actually a scripture that says, and he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bring forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So you will prosper.
God, dog, Sabreen. Talk to us. So, I don't even gotta ask you what walk by faith means, because you just said it. You just told us in so many words what it means to continue to walk by faith daily. Not just do it when you feel like it, not just do it when it's most convenient, but to do it in knowing that what will happen in the future will always work out for the good. And I want to close us out with the Bible scripture from Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not in your own understandings, and in your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. It's self-explanatory. Don't lean on what you know. Don't lean on just your own abilities, because God will give you his abilities. I didn't wake up and just like, I can do a podcast, or I can just talk to people. And Sabreen, you just weren't born just doing all the things that you're doing. Girl, God gave you these strengths, and you're walking in the path that he asked for you. And on top of that, you're using his strength in order to increase who you are in him.
Absolutely.
Let us not think that you're not touching people. Let us not think that you're not inspiring people. Let us not think that you're doing what God has called you to do, and that's why all of the things that are falling into place like they are. Let us not think that things just happen just to happen. Everything happens with a purpose. Everything happens because it's supposed to happen that God said it would. So, Sabreen, I mean, you know, I may be a low-key person. I don't know, but I'm so glad that I got to talk to you. Y'all may not know, but Sabreen is actually like my sister's age, and like I grew up with Sabreen. She would be at my house, and I'm just to watch Sabreen grow up and like to accomplish the things that she's accomplished at such a time like this at her age, and to really take hold of her purpose. Y'all, please don't forget about your purpose in this life, and please don't just take every day just like it's just happening. That's the worst thing you can do, just to live in a state of, oh, you know, I'm young, I can do what I want, I'm free. People are dying every day. In fact, there were 17 kids that passed away in Florida. You know, they didn't know that it would be their last day when they went to school. But let us not just take every day for granted. Let us live it purposefully. And I think on that note, I can close us out. I want to thank you guys for listening. Again, this is the 4th podcast. I'm going to come back week after week with more content all 2018. Sabreen, can you tell the people your handles on social media so that they can follow you?
Okay, perfect. I'm a little bit old, y'all, but I'm going to grow in that. But I'm on Instagram, and my name is Sabreen Speaks. So that's SABR, 2 E's, N, Speaks. At Instagram and on Facebook, I am Sabreen, SABREEN, Jolley, JOLLEY.
Okay.
Website coming soon.
Okay. And where can we find your books?
You can go on Amazon.com and type in Same Sky, Different Light. You can also follow my Instagram page. I have a link to a Big Cartel bookstore, and you can purchase it on there where I can ship you out a signed copy from me. So, yes.
Okay. And as always, the mission of the Walk by Faith podcast show is to highlight inspirational beings anywhere and everywhere globally. I want to continue to push the agenda of inspiring others to embrace their faith, to assimilate into the entrepreneurship culture, and to build generational wealth for all minorities everywhere. Sabreen, thank you for giving me the honor of interviewing you. And girl, I just wish you nothing but the best as you continue with your journey. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.